Every year a WrestleMania comes around, everybody is looking for some past superstar to make a big return or some new superstar to make a new debut. Nothing has ever been better than the Raw after WrestleMania when Brock Lesnar debuted. He came down, I believe he beat the crap out of the Hardys 2-on-1, and just, we had never seen this guy before. Most people, even if they had the internet, never had heard this guy before. All of a sudden, some guy built like the biggest tree trunk in the world comes in there, twice as thick as everyone, twice as big, and Brock is just killing these little guys, making himself look like the biggest dude in the world. All of a sudden, he showed up, and you knew that the game had changed. Within a year, that guy won the WWE Championship by beating The Rock at SummerSlam 2002, and it was on from there. Brock's run in the WWE wouldn't last that long. He didn't like the travel. He ended up leaving to go try and play professional football, which led to a whole bunch of other careers before him going to UFC and then finally returning to WWE. But I can remember last year with the WrestleMania 30, looking at the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, thinking that we were going to see Chris Jericho return or a Rob Van Dam return, maybe some past superstars such as Hulk Hogan just entering the match because he is the guest host. He can do whatever he wants to, and he can just has free reign over the entire show. But I don't know, this year, the announcement that NXT was going to be, becoming a main deal of WrestleMania weekend, it honestly was very late. It did catch me by surprise. A lot of people bought tickets. In fact, I believe it's one of the hardest tickets to get for WrestleMania weekend right now. I believe they said either 3,000 or maybe 4,000 seats were sold through Sellout, San Jose State. It is going to be a smaller venue, but to me, honestly, you put 3,000 people in there, you've sold as many tickets as a Ring of Honor. You've definitely sold more tickets than anything that's going to be going on at the fairgrounds. It puts you in one of those elite spots of the different promotions that are running WrestleMania weekend. So many people have fallen in love with this. I know I have. I was a guy that was watching the specials and basically got to the point where I was like, okay, I watch these specials every time they come up, but these are good matches. And, I'm not fully invested in this because I only watch these pay-per-views when they come out. I'm not watching the weekly shows. It's only an hour, and it's only at that time on Thursdays. Now it's on Wednesdays. Really gotten into this. They were pushing so many guys with, Tommy coming over from Japan. You've got Devitt, who's been all around the world, but he came from Japan as well. You've got Ring of Honor guys and Sami Zayn, and you've got Kevin Steen. I'm mixing the names up. I do this every time we make an NXT video, and I apologize. It's just how I know these guys better. But I think that, them making the matches at Access means something. There's so many times that you're at WrestleMania Access and you're meeting your favorite superstars, whether if you're in the VIP or the general admission line. You might be walking through memorabilia. You might be checking out the Undertaker graveyard. But, there's these live matches, and wrestling will always, direct your attention to see what is going on. It doesn't matter if it's Tommy versus Balor inside of the ring, or if it's, Chris Masters going up against Chavo Guerrero. These guys are hitting the ropes, they're hitting into the turnbuckles, they're doing spots, landing into the mats. You're going to want to see what's going on because that's why we're all at WrestleMania. That's why we went to Access, because we are all wrestling fans and it draws our attention. Last year, I went to Access on Saturday. I went to 3 sessions, all 3 days in a row. They ran NXT shows highlighting the people that were there. I got to see a lot of Paige, Emma, Charlotte, those are the 3 that I remember the Diva Girls more than I remember the guys that wrestled. I do remember CJ Parker being there as well, but I know that I didn't get to see Sami Zayn. I did get to see the Ascension. The NXT people, they didn't come this year to SummerSlam because there was no Access, but they did come to Access the year before. I got to see a lot of Rusev before he was a star. Actually, he wasn't even in the role that he was in. I got to see the Ascension. I got to see Neville, and I believe it was Corey Graves as a tag team. I could be a little bit wrong, and Corey Graves got kidnapped, and Neville had to go beat the Ascension 2-on-1 to keep their titles. But I don't know. I really like the fact that those matches at Access are actually going to mean something. You can go to Access. You can. You don't want to have to meet the superstars. You don't have to just go watch NXT wrestle. Maybe you're not able to attend the NXT show that's going to be ran at San Jose State University because you're going to Ring of Honor or Kaiju Big Battle or I don't know. There's no WrestleCon at that time, but something else has directed your attention, and you're not going to be able to be a part of that show. NXT has made the matches at Access mean something. That also means that the WrestleMania show from Access that they're going to shoot daily and show on the WWE Network is going to be much watched television. I don't know if they're going to show those matches. It would make a lot of sense, but they would definitely, in my guess, be showing highlights and updating you, telling you who is winning these matches, because there is going to be a tournament, and the winner of this tournament is going to get to make their WrestleMania debut on the biggest, grandest stage of them all. When he goes out there, I really don't see anywhere to go back from there. I know that basically you can't wrestle at WrestleMania and then just show back up at developmental, and you've seen it all. You might not have won the match, you might not have won the main event, you might not have competed for a championship. It's only a battle royal. Like last year, half the guys that were in the battle royal, pointed out by Brandon, my good friend Instant Classic 8, half of those guys don't even work there. Brad Maddox was in there, Yoshitatsu, the Great Khali, the long list of guys that have either quit WWE or were released during the summer, or their contracts are expired. Creative has nothing for you. There's a great crop of wrestlers in NXT, and basically those guys aren't going to be there forever. They're going to be moving up into that main spot, and here's a spot for one guy to go there. The one guy that is in NXT that rises above them all. People can say whatever they want to about Adrian Neville, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. These guys have been there longer. They've paid their dues. Prince Devitt never needed to go to developmental in my mind. I know that Triple H likes to take credit for basically reworking his entrance, making him work going off of cues, finding out where the cameras are, and making that a bigger part of his presentation. Everybody loved it in New Japan when he would paint himself up in his war paint before the big matches. He's done it in Independence and other shows around the world, but it was one of the things that really made this point out. But to me, honestly, it's not about the body paint. It is cool when he does it. It does sell a few t-shirts, but the wrestling is why he's there, and I believe the wrestling is what puts him a step above everybody else in NXT. I believe that he is going to win the NXT tournament. I believe that he is going to go on to WrestleMania. I'm not 100% sold that he's going to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but I do think that he has a good chance of having a highlighted spot in there. Does he get his full-on entrance all painted up? I don't think so. I think you want to save that for a year, but I do think you have him in there, drop a few guys out of there, maybe make a Daniel Bryan mistake and getting dumped out of the match, not winning it, letting somebody else have that spotlight. But Prince Devitt, Finn Balor, whatever you want to call him, is going to be a big part of WWE in the future, and I believe that he makes his WrestleMania debut at WrestleMania 31 in San Jose on the grandest stage of them all. From there, he'll go on, he'll wrestle on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Maybe he makes a sporadic appearance saying goodbye to NXT, but I think for right now, he's ready to move on to the main roster and become a part of the big deal.